Welcome, everyone, to the APOD Weekly Podcast. Today, we're doing a deep dive into the weekly AI news summary for the week ending June 7th, 2026.
Yeah, and it has been a pretty wild week.
It really has. Our mission here is to help you, the listener, understand how AI is shifting from, like, a fun experimental chatbot to the actual foundational infrastructure of your daily life and, what that means for your wallet.
Exactly. I mean, the shift is happening so much faster than anyone predicted.
Right, which brings us to this crazy milestone from Anthropic. They just reported this week that their Claude AI is now writing over 80% of the code merged into their core code base.
Which is just staggering.
I mean, their engineers are shipping 8 times faster. So let's unpack this for a second. Is this basically a factory building its own factory machines?
Well, yeah, essentially. Anthropic themselves are calling this an early form of recursive self-improvement.
Oh, wow.
Right. It's the AI actively accelerating the creation of better AI. But, building that self-improving factory takes a massive amount of physical resources.
Like Alphabet just raising, $85 billion specifically for AI data centers and chips?
Exactly, $85 billion.
Wait, isn't that a massive overcorrection? Like, are we sure they aren't just overbuilding out of FOMO, kind of like the dot-com fiber optic boom?
It totally looks like a bubble on the surface.
Yeah.
But if you examine the latest Y Combinator startup batch, the whole narrative shifts.
How so?
Well, the smart money has moved away from building new foundational models.
Mm-hmm.
Founders just aren't doing that as much. Now, startups are building the plumbing, compliance, monitoring, cooling, energy grid management.
So it is like we stopped trying to invent new types of light bulbs, and suddenly everyone is just scrambling to build the power grid to keep the house from catching fire.
That is a great way to put it. And when everyone scrambles for that exact same heavy wiring, you get massive friction.
Right, because laying down all that infrastructure directly drains other industries, right?
Yeah, it really does. Ericsson and Nokia are actually warning that the insatiable demand for AI chips is severely delaying global 5G rollouts.
Wait, really? How does a software AI boom delay physical cell towers?
Because they both rely on the exact same advanced semiconductor fabrication chips, mostly coming from TSMC.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and since AI giants are willing to pay massive premiums to secure those server chips, telecom companies just get pushed to the back of the line.
So here is where it gets really interesting for you, the everyday consumer. Are you about to pay for the AI boom through a higher cell phone bill?
It is highly likely. It is a physical supply chain bottleneck driving up costs across the board.
And it's not just physical resources getting squeezed, right? It's the workforce, too. Like, look at Walmart.
Oh, yeah. The Walmart shareholder vote.
Right. They just rejected a proposal to disclose how AI impacts its 1.6 million employee schedules and performance monitoring.
Which tells you a lot about their priorities.
It does. I mean, if AI is such a great tool for productivity, wouldn't you want to highlight how it is managing your stores? Why keep workers completely in the dark?
Well, the fundamental tension there is control versus morale. Companies like Walmart are prioritizing these systems to squeeze out massive logistical efficiencies.
Right.
But the moment workers realize an opaque algorithm is, dictating their shifts or tracking their breaks, you get intense workforce pushback.
Yeah, nobody wants to be micromanaged by a robot.
Exactly. So transparency, at least in the short term, threatens that rapid efficiency rollout.
And that instinct to prioritize speed oversight night isn't just corporate strategy anymore. It is becoming national policy.
Definitely. Which brings us to the geopolitical side of things.
Right. And just as a quick reminder to the listeners, we are not taking political sides here, just examining the ripple effects. But President Trump just signaled a major policy shift toward AI deregulation.
Yeah, with the explicit goal of boosting U.S. competitiveness against global rivals.
So what does that actually mean for the rest of the world?
Well, a lighter regulatory environment in the U.S. essentially forces tech ecosystems in places like India to heavily invest in their own domestic capabilities.
Because they can't afford to fall behind the U.S. innovation pace.
Exactly. They have to compete.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, local governments aren't just competing on AI, they are eagerly deploying it to govern.
Right. Like the Kerala High Court in India just launched an AI district case management system.
Yeah, to clear massive judicial backlogs and track cases digitally.
So are governments basically racing to deregulate AI on one hand while eagerly hardwiring it into their own bureaucratic systems on the other?
That is exactly the dual reality of this infrastructure phase.
It really is everywhere. Whether you are paying your phone bill, clocking into your shift at work, or sitting in a courtroom, AI is now the invisible infrastructure of your life.
It really is unavoidable at this point.
Which leaves us with this final thought for you to mull over. If AI is already writing 80% of its own code, and we are relying on it to manage our telecom resources and judicial backlogs, at what point does human oversight shift from actively directing the technology to merely observing it?
That is the billion-dollar question.
It sure is. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in to the iPod Weekly podcast. We will see you next week